Hi, everyone. I'm Christine Tulley, President and Executive Writing Coach at Defend, Publish, and Lead, and welcome to episode 216, Dissertation Push Series. I am going to talk to you about a series that we will be doing in March about completing dissertations, but I also want to put in a fun fact that wasn't really enough for a whole episode, but I thought it was worth mentioning since this is more of an announcement type episode anyway. One of the things you'll notice if you're watching on YouTube is that I'm in kind of a weird location. And I really started thinking about how we work at the course of the university and where we get work completed, because I have found myself working in the most random spots over the past 2, 3 weeks. Primarily because of a fragmented meeting schedule where I only have, say, 17 minutes between two things, and it's not worth it to go anywhere. So today, normally I would find a nice location to record this podcast, and every single location that I typically use was busy and where I am right now. So this might be a reason to go look at the YouTube video, but I am in an old studio recording space in our library where you're able to just come in and basically hit a button. It's called our one button studio, and you can load files to your computer of making videos. So this was the way that I recorded class lectures back in the day. And one of the things that's also sort of funny about it is behind me is there's basically a screen with markers where I could write on the board and do math equations and things like that. So this is not the point of this particular episode, but it is kind of relevant to completing a dissertation, which I'll talk about in a second. But I think one of the things that I have found with academics, both graduate students, faculty members, people that are in nonprofit work that have academic degrees, the people that are getting work done to kind of figure out a way to get the work done. And so in this case, like in the case of recording this particular podcast episode, every time I tried to get it done today, everything was like thwarted against me. I didn't have an outlet that would hook, my laptop wasn't charged, so there wasn't an outlet nearby in one location, and I needed to plug it in, and then all my spaces were gone because there's students in them or in this other area. We've had a lot of ice and snow in Ohio, so there was, a giant noisy salt truck salting. So, sometimes you just have to accept, we've talked about this before on this podcast, that, maybe it's not going to be perfect, but it is going to get complete. So today, that's totally what happened with this episode, but also the point of our March series on dissertations. And what we're going to be doing in our 3-week series in March is we're going to work on really 3 prongs of completing a dissertation. So this series is primarily designed for people that are in the last year. They just want to get it finished. And a lot of those folks are coming to us at this point in the year because it might be January, it might be February, and they just realize like, hey, I am supposed to graduate in May or in August or in December, and I just have to get this done. What do I do to get it completed? And so we're going to work on 3 different prongs in the March series. One of them will be looking at just kind of taking a realistic stock of everything that still has to be done to make sure that you are out. That doesn't mean everything you want to do. It means what it would take to just complete and get out. There's some strategic language and definitely some strategic decision-making practices that can be really helpful here. Some of this is a conversation between graduate student and advisor, but sometimes it's things, if you're the dissertation writer, that you have a lot of control over. This is a process that seems like your fate is in everyone else's hands, but there are definitely some proactive things that you can do even this late in the game. So we're going to talk about that during one of the weeks. Another one we're going to talk about is how your writing practices absolutely have to change at this stage. Strategies that either worked for you or didn't work for you. Usually whatever you were doing even before this last semester is not going to be the way that you're going to finish the home stretch. There's usually some things that have to happen in there. They're completely different. So we will talk about how to approach those writing practices. And the last one will be more about the partnership between you and your advisor and committee members and university and all of those things that you have to do. So again, some of that's just, strategic decision making and some practices, but also just some pieces and some language to have with your advisor about completion, about what are the expectations with revisions that need to be finished. What's the difference between the essential changes you have to do in your chapters versus things that are are just nice to have. So sometimes that language is difficult. We have many clients that come to us with difficult dissertation advisors. And one of the things that we'll be doing is just giving you some of those conversations, whether you're in a positive situation or not. So that way, you know, these are the questions I need to be asking my advisor at this point to get through. So I invite you to join us for that March series. The link to sign up is in our show notes today. And also you can find all of our events at Eventbrite. Just look up Defend, Publish, and Lead. I know many of you find us this way. And as always, if you're somebody that's in need of some writing coaching while you're finishing your dissertation, of course, you can come to us. There are free consultations available. So we do a 30-minute free consultation for anyone. If you go to Defend, Publish, and Lead, you can check out our website and click the link there to sign up. Happy writing this week.